Your 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys, coming out with a win here. This game was close, right? But the Niners defense just held strong, and Dak just could not overcome. Your thoughts on this game, Rich?
I told you, Mitchell. I told you. Mitchell, the Dallas Cowboys are not built like that. They are not. Everybody's like, San Francisco hasn't played anybody in the last 8 games. They haven't played a defense like that. Okay, I hear you. That's true enough. You just lost to Brock Purdy. Understand, a third-string quarterback, the mystery relevant rookie. So when I hear anything Dallas Cowboys, just remember that. Not that Brock Purdy, this isn't a slight to Brock Purdy at all. Brock Purdy's having an incredible run. He deserves all the credit in the world. But if I told Dallas Cowboys fans, before the season started, hey, the kid they just drafted with the last pick, he's going to put y'all out of the playoffs this year. They would have laughed in my face. Well, guess what? He just sent y'all home. And I hear every time this Cowboys team is different. I heard Micah Parsons say, Mitchell, he said, this is the matchup we wanted. Well, Micah, you wanted to go home because this matchup was never going to not send you home. Micah, you're not playing the guy they drafted number 3 in the draft a couple years ago. You're not playing him. You're not playing Jimmy Garoppolo, who's going to sit in that pocket and can't get around. You're not playing him. You're playing a rook. So you would think, oh man, we're really confident. Nah, this rook different. Brock Purdy's a little different. Like he's poised. He's not worried about you. I don't think Micah Parsons had a sack in the game, Mitchell. He just had pressures. He's a pressure guy, Mitchell. He's not a finisher. And that's a great caveat to the Dallas Cowboys, Mitchell, because they're pressure guys, Mitchell. They almost get there, and then they don't. Mitchell, they almost make the play, and then they don't. But you know who's not, Mitchell? Kyle Shanahan. 3 out of the last 4 years, they're in the NFC title game. It don't matter if they start the season 3-5, 5-0, undefeated, 11-game winning streak heading. They thought this team was on an 11-game winning streak and they were going to fold to the Dallas Cowboys. The Seattle Seahawks last week, Mitchell, put up more points in a half than the Dallas Cowboys put in the whole game. They didn't score a second offensive touchdown. And I keep hearing, I was hearing Dallas fans like they had never watched the 49ers, like they didn't know they had 3 All-Pros on their defense. Every level has an All-Pro. Look at the D-line. Nicholas, John Bosa. Come on now. Second level. Frederico, Anthony, Warner. Come on. And then you go to the third level. The surprise of the bunch. Talanoa Hufanga. And he made some key plays, but it was Jimmy Ward, Mitchell. It was Jimmy Ward creating chaos out there. Jimmy Ward who ended this game. And he looked good, Mitchell. But do not forget about the young kid, the guy much maligned throughout the season. What is the other corner outside of Charvarius Ward going to do? Diamador Lenore. It was like he stopped time for a second, took 2 steps, and then started the clock. Because for some reason, Dak, he was standing 2 steps in front of, he was waiting for Dak. It was like when you had your quarterback throw the ball for the drill, and he's like taking too long, like, hurry up and throw it. I'm about to pick this. Like, throw it. Mitchell, Dak was overwhelmed. This moment was too big for him. And when they lost your guy, Mitchell, they lost Tony Pollard. Hopefully it's just a high ankle sprain. He recovers. It's usually 6 to 8 weeks, and he has a good offseason and he gets his money. The Dallas Cowboys haven't been to the NFC title game since Deion. Mitchell, since Deion. Deion has coached 2 universities now. Mitchell, they ain't been since Deion. Deion and played for different teams. The Ravens, coached high school, won championships, was in the SWAT, and they ain't been to the NFC title since. That's a claim to fame, Deion. Look, without me, y'all not seeing the Super Bowl because they haven't. And that's the reality, and something has to change. Every year, it's like, oh, the Dallas Cowboys, because they get all these primetime games. People are so high on them. Oh, they're going to do it. Zeke had 10 carries for 26 yards. Without Tony Pollard, there is no offense. You talk about C.D. Lamb, had a solid game, had the big explosive that gave him great catch. He had a solid game, 10 for 117. DeMarcus Lawrence had a sack, but you're not feeling good coming out of this game. Like, what's next for them?
That's the big question, and I think they'd be fools to let Tony Pollard walk. First off, Zeke, is a one-trick pony at this point in his career, in my opinion. I know you like him, Rich, but 10 carries, 26 yards in the playoffs, a game that you cannot lose, and that's a level of production that you have. I mean, come on. But Mike McCarthy, let's talk about the coach right now. Does he stick around? Does he find himself in that same position next year?
If he's coaching the Dallas Cowboys, Mitchell, what are we talking about? What did I just tell you? Mitchell, since Dion, they've had different coaches. I'm not going to put it all on McCarthy. They won games. They had a decent season. But no matter who the coach has been, they have not gotten over the hump. They are divisional and done. Divisional and done. Divisional and done. Mitchell, let's put a beat behind it. Divisional and done. Divisional and done. You know what I mean? Kind of ordeal. Like, they're not getting past that, Mitchell. And the San Francisco 49ers are poised. I told my cousin, he left a comment on one of my pictures, and he was like, Cuzzo, this is a different year for the Niners ain't ready for this. I said, Cuzzo, you haven't watched them play. They got an all-pro on all three levels, and the kid at quarterback does everything they needed him to do. Christian McCaffrey, they got more playmakers than y'all. George Kittle did it this time, Mitchell. George Kittle, big plays throughout the game. A big penalty holding call, where he would have got open and got a touchdown on a would-be sack. Guy got sacked on the play. It was third down. Would have took him out of, it made it a field goal, but that was a huge play. He made a huge catch to really get him sparked. CMC didn't have the greatest game, but he had the rushing touchdown. He had 6 receptions, huge third down conversions, and Brock Purdy outplaying Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had a TD, but he had 2 interceptions, costly interceptions, one of them in the red zone, and he just didn't look in control. Brock Purdy always looked in control, Mitchell, and he's throwing harder passes. Like, anytime, everything is going inside for the 49ers. Those are tough passes. And sure, he got lucky. Trayvon Diggs had an interception right in his hand that got tipped. Mitchell, it's the playoffs. If ifs was fifth, Mitchell, we'd all be
drunk. We would. Let's get to something here, though, Rich, that is going to be a question, I'm sure, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but let's just talk in hypotheticals here. Kyle Shanahan came out earlier this week and said, Jimmy G is going to be good to go here relatively soon. I don't know if that's going to be the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, but assuming he is healthy, 100% healthy, are you putting him back under center, or are you giving this to...
No.
Not even a question, eh?
No, not even a question. Not a debate. Not a conversation. Jimmy's healthy. Perfect. We'll have a solid backup in case any disaster happens. We'll still feel like we have a chance in the Super Bowl. But no, you're not even considering that, Mitchell. This kid has done too much. It's not the completions and the passes that get you. It's when he gets you out of plays that Jimmy wouldn't have been able to get you out of. When there's pressure coming and he spins around. And not that he's making a great pass, but he's not allowing it to be a sack. So instead of it going from 2nd and 10 to 3rd and 15, 3rd and 14, it's 3rd and 10. And that can be done. And instead of, you get a little bit on first down, so it's 2nd and 7, and then you get pressure on the offensive line had a bit of a rough day early on in the first half. And he kept them in it. He didn't take a lot of sacks. Sure, he threw the ball away when he had to, but those are huge. And his little bit of mobility is something that Kyle Shanahan values. I mean, that's why he went and got Trey Lance. He wanted mobility, and this guy has just enough to get it done. But you know what else I want to say, Mitchell?
Let's hear it.
You know how worried DeMeco Ryans was for the Dallas Cowboys? Let me tell you how worried he was, Mitchell. He had 4 job interviews this week, Mitchell. He had 4 job interviews this week. Head coach job interviews. He had to prepare for them. He had to I'm sure they were at least a couple hours. Mitchell, he had 2 today. Mitchell, he had 2 today. He had 2 job interviews, head coach interviews today. And then ended his day beating the team, that he needed to, whatever he had to do.
You just love it. You love it. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from DeMeco, but it helps when you have a first-team All-Pro at all levels, Rich. You know that. But obviously he's done a hell of a job with this team. I mean, this defense is an absolute juggernaut. And this was a game I was a little skeptical. I love 49ers. I think they're a hell of a team, but this was the first really, really true test, I think, for Brock more than the team. I think for Brock Purdy, this was the biggest test of his career. And yeah, I mean, statistically didn't look phenomenal, but like you said, Rich, played with poise, never put the ball into the opposing team's hand. 19 of 29, 214 yards, it's going to get it done. He did enough to get the team a win. he was gutsy. I mean, that's the reality of it. But the other thing I love about this team is CMC's banged up. I don't know what was going on with his calf or his heel or what was going on, but he comes out of that game and Elijah Mitchell comes in there and totes the rock down the stretch and he gets him first down after first down. Granted, should have stayed in bounds on that last first down run, but nonetheless, like, it just shows you, Richard, the level of depth this team has at very, very key positions to be able to weather storms mid-game and come out with wins. And then finally, Rich, you called this guy out a couple weeks ago, Diamador Lenore, and I know you like his game, but you said he's got to step it up. And he has done just that these last 2 games, Rich. 2 picks each of the last 2 games. When you have guys like this that are able to elevate their games, could be a recipe for something special.
Mitchell,
that's all I'll say.
On the flip side, Dak Prescott has been in the playoffs a bunch of times. He's been to the playoffs, Mitchell. He's gotten paid. He's considered a top 10, consistent top 10 quarterback. Nobody's guessing that. But Brock Purdy's a rookie, Mr. Irrelevant, and has more playoff wins, Mitchell. Don't shoot the messenger, Mitchell. I like Dak. I'm appreciative of what he's done. But if we gonna just call a spade, call a spade. And I'm tired of people giving credit where credit is not due. Josh Allen is also starting to teeter into that space. Josh Allen, I mean, last year, you're giving him the hype that he should have. If overtime would have happened, if they would have had a shot in overtime and got the ball back, he could have won that game. We gave him credit. Credit's up. I need results. And the results weren't there. Joe Shiesty came in there and took everything that was on your plate. And
opinions over statistics, of course, Rich. Come on now. You already know that Drake line. Come on now.
Yes. Mitchell, opinions over statistics, of course. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys are. They're opinions over statistics. The star is bigger than their star power, Mitchell. The noise is bigger than the play, Mitchell, and it's every year. They have not been since 95, Mitchell. 95 was a long time ago. We're in 2023. We get to 2025, it's good night.
It'd be a long 3 decades. That'd be 3 decades for those that are doing the quick math at home. So